Hello students. So how is everybody doing out there? I hope you all are doing super fine and the studies are also going super fine. What about the revision process? Are you following up my sessions regularly? Are you revising what we are doing in my sessions? So you need to have a proper practice of that in order to follow up the sessions. So what we were doing in the last class, we had started about the cleaning agents, or I can say the cleansing agents. What are the cleaning agents that we can use? Soaps and detergents. Yes, that is the last session of this very chapter, chemistry in everyday life. So take a sigh of relief. We will be actually completing this very topic here itself. So what is soap and what is a detergent? So there is a difference between the two. What is a soap? Soap is actually having long chains of what? Fatty acids, and we convert it into the salt. So the sodium salt of long chain fatty acids, that is nothing but a soap. We can also use the potassium salt of long chain fatty acids. So that is what we make in the case of soap. The reaction is known as saponification, and what is the byproduct that we obtain? It is glycerol, nothing but the glycerine. So I hope that is very well clear to you. Let's move on to the detergents. So as I discussed in the last session, what is detergent? Detergent is actually serving as the property of soap. It is also very good reagent whenever we use it in hard water. So in hard water as well as soft water, both the kinds of water, detergent works super fine. It has got so much of lather, it has got so much of foam that we can clean our fabrics, we can clean the household materials. So that is what the quality of detergent is. And there is also a drawback in the case of detergents. So before moving on to the drawback, I would like to discuss what we were discussing in the last session, the type of detergents we have got. So what kind of detergents we have got? Types of detergents. So we have got anionic. I hope you all are revising the last session. So anionic. I have got cationic. And what else? I have got even non-anionic, or I can say non-ionic detergents. That means involving no kind of ions. So what we were on to was the anionic detergents. We had formed something with the lauryl alcohol. So lauryl alcohol resulted in the formation of sodium lauryl sulfate. That was the product that we had made at that time. So what is the basic process to make the anionic reagent, anionic detergent? We need to first of all have long chain fatty acid, long chain alcohol I am taking first. So what we need to do is, we needed to actually sulfonate it first. After the sulfonation, what we need to do is, we need to again treat it with alkaline hydrolysis, basically we have to do. So that is treatment with NaOH. So that is what we have discussed in the last session. So I hope you all remember that. Let's move on to the answer to the question which I had asked in the last session. So there was a proper reaction of dodecyl benzene. So we had taken up dodecyl benzene. Let's move on to the reaction. So I've got a benzene ring here. Let me just make it properly. So it would be, dodecyl means I need to have 12 carbon atoms over here, along with what? Along with the benzene ring. So we need to have this. So now I am again doing what? Doing the sulfonation. So I need to have sulfuric acid for that. I get the sulfonic acid, the sulfonated benzene over here. It would be like this. Benzene ring here I am making. I hope you all are simultaneously following up. So that is nothing but dodecyl benzene sulfonic acid. So that is what we had made, benzene sulfonic acid And now I had asked you what will be the next process, the alkaline hydrolysis definitely. So it would be the alkaline hydrolysis. That means again I am treating it with NaOH, aqueous NaOH, and what do we get over here? We get an anion over here. That means SO3 negative, it get converted into SO3 negative along with Na positive. That means a kind of a salt is made. So it would be that is how we are going to make it. So that is nothing but, I hope you all have got this answer right. It was a super easy question to you. So dodecyl benzene sulfonate would be the answer. So it's sodium dodecyl benzene sulfonate. So do not forget to mention the counter ion over here. I need to mention the sodium every time in order to represent this as a salt. So that is nothing but the formation of a very good detergent. That is actually alkyl benzene sulfonates. So basically where the alkyl benzene sulfonates are used, naturally it is a detergent, but in most of the household work, you have got the detergents over there in your houses. Those detergents are mostly contained with such kind of, I am not saying this very particularly this very group, but such kind of alkyl benzene sulfonates. So I hope that is very well clear to you. So let me just write up the use for that. Such kind of alkyl benzene sulfonates are used in household work. So that is what it is. That is the use, the particular use of alkyl benzene sulfonates. So I hope you all have got this very well. Now let's move on to the cationic detergents. Let's have a look at the cationic ones. So what are cationic detergents? So under the category of cationic detergents, I have got, that means over here, instead of the anion, now the cation is taking part in the reaction most prominently. So this kind of detergent is also known as the invert. That means I am using the opposite ion, the counter ion, for my main removal of oils or removals of fat. So basically it is also known as invert detergents. That is just for your information. Now what is the very popular cationic detergent which is used? It is cetyl trimethyl. So it has got cetyl trimethyl ammonium bromide. So that is what we use. That is what we are going to discuss. Only the structure we are concerned about, not the formation as such. So what is the structure for this very compound? So the structure would be something like this. Let us just have a structure. I need to have a quaternary ammonium salt. So basically under the category of cationic detergents, we need to have quaternary ammonium salts. So these are quaternary ammonium salts of, I need to mention the counter ion. So counter ion could be the bromide, the chloride or the acetate. So salts of chloride, bromide or acetate. So these could be the counter ions, and the main ion would be here. Just focus, just be very careful, these are the anions instead of what we have done in the previous case. We have got the smaller cations in that case. Here the bigger one is what? The bigger is the cation, so we need to have that. We need to have an ammonium, quaternary ammonium salt. We all know what quaternary ammonium salt is. Nitrogen is having a positive charge because it has got 4 attachments. So that is what we are going to make over here. So let's try to have the structure for it. So the structure would be it has got now in total 16 carbon atoms. And what else? This very group, this very particular group is attached with, sorry, let me just make 15 over here. I am talking about the total number of carbons. So that is the one structure that is attached. Another one is the 3 methyl groups which is attached. So that is what the structure is. And I have got a positive charge. Positive charge for what? For this very nitrogen, it is the positive charge. And what do I need to have? Attach one counter ion, that is the bromide. So that is what cetyl trimethyl ammonium bromide is. So I hope that is very well clear to you. One thing I would like to mention here is the quality of these very kind of cationic detergents. So basically, first of all, these are used in the hair conditioners, most prominently hair conditioners. Yes, the hair conditioners that you use, these are also a kind of detergent, cationic detergent. And you must have noticed that there is no kind of a scum formation, no kind of a precipitate formation whenever it interacts with the water. So that is what the quality of detergents is, as I discussed. So these are nothing but the hair conditioners that we use. Also, what is the quality? The quality is it has got the germicidal properties. That means germicidal, as I discussed, the term cidal means killing of germs. It can kill the germs as well. So germicidal properties it has got. That means what? That means they are pretty expensive. And conditioners we all know they are comparatively expensive than our shampoos. So these are comparatively expensive, or I can say quite expensive. So that is what the quality of these cationic detergents is. So I hope that is very well clear to you. Here the cation part is the big, whereas the anion part is the small. Now let's just move on to the last category of detergents, that is the non-ionic detergents. Yes, we have got some of the detergents which are actually having no ions present in them. So let's move on to that. Before that, first just note this down. So let's now move on to the non-ionic detergents. I hope you all have noted this down. So let's move on to that. The last category of detergents, that is non-ionic detergents, we have got. What are non-ionic detergents? Having no ions. It is completely evident from the name. Now, what all are included in here? So, one of such non-ionic detergents, I am taking an example over here, we will form it with the stearic acid. So, we form it with the stearic acid. So, remember the number of carbons present in the stearic acid, what we have done in the case of saponifications. Try to recall that. It has got, yes, 17 carbon atoms. So, I need to draw that only. So, stearic acid plus what? Polyethylene glycol. And I need to actually condense the two minus water, and we form what? We form the non-ionic detergent here in this case. So, the stearic acid is taken in total 17 carbons over here and COOH. So that is what the stearic acid is. Now let's move on to the polyethylene glycol. In the case of polymers, you must have read this kind of technique, how to form polymers from basic molecules. So that is what we are going to do over here. We have got here OH. So that is what we are going to have, and that means these units are repeated n number of times. I hope you are able to see that clearly. So that is nothing but the polyethylene glycol. Now I need to have a condensation reaction, the removal of water. So let's just remove off the water. Minus H2O. And what do we have over here? The final, the resultant product, it would be minus H2O. And what do we get? So let me just write that, CH3 here, 16 COO along with the remaining groups over here. So it's a very simple reaction. You just need to remove the water molecules and connect the two given molecules over here, and that is what we are going to form here. Let me just highlight it a bit. So that is what the non-ionic detergent is. Non-ionic means it is not associated with any kind of ions. This is completely an R group. But what is a very good thing about this non-ionic reagent is it has got an R part. That means it has got a hydrophobic part as well as the hydrophilic part. You need to judge that what is the hydrophilic. What is hydrophilic? That means water loving species. And what is hydrophobic? That is not water loving but actually resisting the water. What all species are those? So I have got a part over here. Be very careful while observing the parts. I have got a hydrophilic part, that is hydrophilic. And what do I have over here? That is nothing but the hydrophobic part. And that is how these kind of detergents act. What is the use? The use of these detergents is most prominently in the dishwashing. Whenever you must have observed the dishwashing detergents, they are kind of thick. So they are nothing but what? Non-ionic detergents. So let me just write that. It is dishwashing detergents. So I hope you all are following this up. Now we are completely through with the type of detergents as well. Let's move on to the drawback of the detergents here. So what is the actual drawback of the detergents? Despite of having so many properties of soap and so many qualities of interacting with soft as well as hard water, but what is the drawback? Of detergents. So the drawback of detergent is most of the detergents are branched chain. So basically what happens, due to this kind of branching, they are degraded very slowly. That means they are not biodegradable completely. The bacteria cannot actually degrade them. So what happens is they remain as it is in the water. They collect in the ponds, they collect in the rivers and accumulating over there, harming the marine life actually. So basically you might have seen in the rivers or the ponds, there is some kind of a froth which is generated over the water. That froth is nothing but due to these kind of detergents which are branched. So mostly are branched, but these days the research has been going on in order to make less branches within the R part of the detergent. So that is what is going on in the research, and many of the detergents have been developed having lesser number of branches, but actually what is happening, the cost of such production is increasing. The cost of such detergents is high and they are slightly expensive. So, but what is the positive part over here is it is not at all harming the environment. So, that is what the drawback is, and what we can do to actually cure this kind of a problem is we need to have less branches within a detergent. So, that is what the problem is. Now, let us jot down the points over here why the detergents are harmful to the environment. First of all, they are branched. The branched ones they are actually doing what? Not degraded by bacteria. That means what? Accumulating in rivers, ponds, lakes. That means what? Harming the marine life. So, they are in turn resulting in the water pollution. So, that is a lot of water pollution generated. So, what is the cure for this problem? So, the cure is development of less branched chains, development of less branched chains in detergents. I hope you all are following up. Thereby protecting the environment. So, finally what we have got? Less pollution, less water pollution. Even after the sewage treatment, this very froth which is developed due to the detergents, it is not removed. So, that is why it is resulting in so much of water pollution. Even after the treatment, it is not getting removed. So, that is what the drawback is, and we are constantly working on, many scientists are constantly working on these kind of drawbacks, these kind of problems in order to actually protect our environment. So, that is all in the case of chemistry in everyday life. We are completely through with the chapter, and I hope you all have enjoyed the chapter because it is nothing but correlating with our environment, what we are living in. Chemistry is all around us, and we need to find out what all can be done in order to protect our environment, in order to have a better life. So, that is what we are constantly doing and constantly having research upon. So, I hope you liked this chapter very well, and the way that I explained it to you, I hope that is very well understood. So, have a good day and take care of your health.